started. All right, so we're going to start with C300s. We're just going to keep today's session simple. We're just looking for buyers. Okay, just hold. All right, so we're just going to start off by looking at buyers on the daily charts. Then we look for confirmation and the pattern so that we can make it a quick one. So jumping onto the daily, we're looking for buyers. Let's see. So yesterday we had 2 points of interest. We had this area here and we had this area here. So if you were following price, we're talking about this retracement coming up here. So it looks like price has tapped into a point of interest, which is at the top here. So at the moment, yes, price can still tap into this area, maybe interact with the 30 EMA, but we can also most likely push down since we've hit a point of interest. So for now, I would say we've got a bearish bias there. On the 4 hour, do we have any supply zone? We don't. The only thing we will see here is that price is actually has actually interacted with this zone. We also have a fair value gap in here, liquidity above this area. So all those areas have been hit. And what can most likely happen now is a sell can actually take place. So based on that price action from the higher time frames, we are open to actually getting some sell signals. When we drop to H1, we are looking for the confirmation of price trading below the 13 EMA for us to be able to actually execute a sell. So we are actually below the 13, which lines up with the bias we have from the higher time frame. So now we look for an order block or a supply zone. Excuse me, the only order block I have is this one here where price is just left. So for now, for me, that's my point of interest. If we look to the far left, we want to mark these highs. You see these highs here where price was failing to break. That's also a point of interest. So if this price is bullish, we will most likely get an interaction here before they continue pushing up. But if we happen to come below this level, then those sells will continue and we might head to this level here, which we marked yesterday. So for now, bias is bearish and we are looking for sells. When we drop to M15, what do we have? This is where we start looking for a pattern. So the best trade would have been at this point of interest, which we had yesterday. I don't know if anybody managed to catch this sell because we had a higher high. We had an order block, which was broken and retested twice. So this price is in motion for the sells. So I would love to take a sell from here to here. In terms of stop loss can go somewhere above this level here. This is M15. So if you can mark on your charts, my points of interest for buys will be on this order block, which price is left just now. So anywhere from 22.45 to 22.55, that's my point of interest. So it's 22.45 to 22.55. So this is not a sell limit. The reason why it's not a sell limit is because the daily, we are not sure whether the daily wants to go down or they want to still go up and tap into the 13 EMA. So this is just a point of interest. We can only sell if price comes into this area and actually rejects, right? So at the same time, we also have this price area, which we just marked, which is 22.33. So from 22.33, 22.45, and 22.55. This is where I like to see price actually show me a reversal candle. So we're looking for a doji, bearish engulfing, inside bar, a pin bar. Those are the candles we'll be looking for in this area here. If we get any of those candles, if you're not sure about the trade, that will basically be a lower high. So you can locate an order block within that push up. Then you can sell at the break and we can target the 200 EMA or this level, which we have from yesterday's price action. So for now, I would say that's my view and I'm going to leave the C300 trade on M15. So we are anticipating something like this. If this does not play out, the next point of interest would be the 800 EMA at the top here. So we'll see if we can get a reaction here for a possible sell as well. So that's my view on C300. Going to C1000, this is, I don't know if anybody managed to actually catch this trade yesterday, because this was actually a good setup. I remember we started selling here. We had a sell limit at 54.20, which was somewhere in here. Let's just confirm the exact price. Did any of you guys manage to catch that trade? So 54.20 was somewhere here. So if you notice, again, price created a lower high. We had an order block, which we broke and retested. So usually, if price is actually trending, don't worry about catching the first move, because most of the times price will retrace and actually give a safer entry with a better risk as well. So I don't know if anybody managed to catch it yesterday, but anyways, the bias was bearish and it played out well. A very good. Okay, please let me know if you can still hear me. The network, it literally canceled me out and it just rebooted and put me back in. So I hope you guys can still hear me. Just be with me. I'm still in the process of trying to change my network. Okay, all right, perfect. So I was talking about perfect. I was talking about C1000. We had a nice sell, nice pattern yesterday. So looking at it today, prices already dropped. The daily strong bearish, but I think we've missed most of the move today. Let me just check on the H4 if we can get a supply zone. So I've got this supply zone. I think I marked it out yesterday. Then I also have this supply zone for today right here. So H4 is just for locating order blocks, supply zones, and demand zones. So before I explain this setup, I want to explain a pattern. I want you to notice, do you see that when price was pushing from this peak? So for now, let's forget about the time frame. We just want to look at the pattern. I want you guys to see something. You see from this highest high here, which is a peak, when price came below the 50 EMA and actually retested, if you're trading BTMM, that's your intraday 50 setup. This particular pattern here is what I want to talk about. You see this retest and this bounce off the 50 EMA and this baseline bounce here. If you take a look at B500 M15 yesterday, it's the same pattern right here. Do you notice that it's the same pattern? We had our highest high here, price melted below the 50 EMA, and we have this particular price action right on the 50 EMA. At the same time, on this particular example, we had this variation of a baseline bounce, which actually bounced off the 50 level. So I just wanted you guys to see that these patterns are the same no matter what you trade or what time frame you trade. This is M15, then on C1000 it's H4, but it's basically the same pattern whereby price actually gives an impulsive move, goes sideways or retraces or retests the 50 EMA with a nice candlestick pattern here and continues pushing down. So I just thought let me highlight that pattern in case somebody sees it on anything else or on any other day. You can just execute the same trade as long as you see the pattern. So today price is still bearish, yes, but what we'll notice now is we're currently on these lows. So usually after liquidity has been taken out, price usually retraces. Okay, if we jump to the weekly, you realize that these are also the all-time lows being set. I'm still going to maintain a bearish bias on C on C 1000. So what do we have on H1? H1 we want to confirm trend. As you can see, price never came back above from yesterday's. This was actually a swing sell. For those who held until this level, this is where the trade would have completed if you were in a swing trade. So as much as I'm maintaining a sell bias, I'm open to seeing this price actually retrace because as soon as they take out liquidity here, they're going to retrace up. So we might get a chance to get in, or price might decide to start reversing. So that's one other thing we need to pay attention to. So where can we sell from here? In terms of M15, I do not have any clear entry as well, except for the H4. Remember on H4, we marked this level here. It's also in line with yesterday's low right here. So I would say for me, that's my only point of interest where I can actually comfortably sell from this area here. If you just mark yesterday's low, that's my point of interest. So as much as price is dropping, they can even melt from current market price, but I do not have a pattern here. I do not have anything I can use. So I'd rather wait for a potential retracement maybe to this area, but I feel like C1000, if we did not catch anything here for today, we've missed the best setup. So we might not have a trade. Maybe unless we do this, if we, let's say we continue pushing down, right, and we come back and we reject right on this red line, we can consider a sell there. But I just want us to be careful with this one because usually after a drop like this, price likes to actually reverse and not retrace. It will actually be a reversal. So the main things I would love to wait for is this main point of interest, which is on yesterday's low. And this all-time, these are the all-time lows, right? So if we can break, maybe retest, uh, we might get a short-term sell on this area here. That will be my view on C1000 for today. So I'm just going to leave it on H1 as well. And I'll just also be paying attention to the 13 EMA because remember, the best setups always originate near a moving average. No matter what moving average you're using, your best setup will start near the moving average. So if you take your trade here, this is a late sell. Yes, price can drop, but it's a late sell. Where are you going to put your stop loss here? Your stop loss is to go outside the range. So if you notice best setups originating on the 13 EMA, this was yesterday. So for now, I'll say C1 is a bit tricky. Yes, we are bearish, but it's a bit tricky in terms of entry. So let's just maybe keep stoking on it. If I see something which we can use during the course of the day, I'll let you guys know. Then C1000, we agreed that we are bullish from yesterday's price action. As you can see, we were bullish. This was yesterday. Excuse me. We were bullish. We didn't get any sell trade. Today as well, we've been pushing up, but now we've taken out liquidity here. So let me just minimize the chart, see if there's anything we can use on the left. Okay, on the left, the only thing I'm noticing is that we are on a sort of a point of interest. Because if you notice, we've got this zone, right? We broke, then retested, retested, retested. Can we potentially retest? Yes, we might, but we can only sell when the weekly candle maybe goes black. But for now, I would say C500 is bullish. To keep it simple, we are still bullish here. We can only consider sells today if the current daily candle goes red. If you want to sell, that's the only reason you can sell. And we can only consider sells if we come in close below the 13 EMA with a solid pattern. Sometimes you get a move like this. You see here, we got a close below the 13 EMA. We also got a close below the order block. But did the pattern follow through? Though it didn't. The next candle literally reversed and closed back above. So just know that if your higher time frame is bullish, the cells will be low probability. The patterns will form, but they will fail. Okay, so we can just use the 13 EMA as a guidance. Then I'm interested in this week, which they left here. Very interested in this week. So if we can come below that week, then I can start considering sales. But as price stands right now, we do not have any setup and price is bullish. The reason I don't give buy setups on crash is because I only sell and the booms are only buy. If you need analysis on those, I might have to do it with you maybe one-on-one, but it's not something I can do now because it will literally derail my own personal trading plan. But otherwise, if you are trading buys and if you see a pattern, you can still trade um, and take your pips. So this I'm only take safe sells below this red line here. So that's anywhere maybe below 48.20. That's when I'll consider sells. But for now, we are bullish. If you notice yesterday, we also failed to break any of the order blocks we had. So as soon as I saw this, I was like, this is a no trade day for me because price is bullish. So same applies today. We are bullish. So C5, I've got nothing. C1, patiently waiting. C3, let's see, they've actually tapped this area. Can we get a trade here? Let's wait for some more price action. If we can break here, I might consider an impulsive sell right at the break of this red line. So remember, sometimes price will overlap the zone. Sometimes they come right into the zone. Sometimes they just tap. Remember I think last night I sent something in the group in terms of fair value gaps, whereby there's three different ways a fair value gap can be respected. It same applies to order blocks or any zone you have. Either price will respect the zone right on the zone, or they will overlap slightly above, or they will just tap, or they will react before they get into the point of interest. So for now, let's just wait and see what they want to do right here. In terms of buyers, we are good for sells, but let's just wait for more confirmation here for us to actually execute. All right, then going to B500. What I realized on B500, again, we were bearish. I think yesterday I did not have a bias here. Did I have a bias? I don't think I had a bias because you see, we spoke of this consolidation currently happening and we marked these levels. If you notice, price hasn't yet closed below this. So chances are that we could actually get buys. We are actually open to seeing buys if price wants to remain in that range. But at the same time, price can get bearish. As you can see, we've got a point of interest here, so we can still see this price coming down. But the fact that we are near the 13 EMA, we are very open to getting a buy setup today as a rejection on the daily 13 EMA. All right, so when we drop to H4, I don't think we'll find anything on H4 since we're consolidating. So we won't find any supply or demand zones here. If we drop down to H1, remember I only buy, so I can only buy this if price comes back above the 13 EMA. That's when I'll start looking for buys. But at the moment, I've got nothing. Yesterday, you can see after our Zoom, price remained below the 13 EMA until the close of the day. So we had nothing. So same applies today. If price remains below the 13, it means we are still going with the sales. If we break here, then price will still be bearish. I won't have anything. But if we can come back above the 13 EMA, we'll see with the H1 candles which we are going to have. If we've got a pattern, then we're going to execute a buy and we're going to target these highs or otherwise higher. But I'll keep you updated on this one as I'll be actively stoking it. So the first thing we want to see if we want to buy, we want to see price action like this, a rejection candle, right? We want to see a candlestick which we know showing us that price wants to go up. After we get a pattern like this, we want to drop to M15 to look for a pattern. Once we get a pattern, then we can execute. It will also be confirmed by price coming above the 13 EMA. So if you notice, yesterday we didn't come above, so there was nothing here, until we got to this area here. So we'll just be patiently waiting. I'm going to leave this on H1 just like this so that I can keep stoking and checking the candles each time I look at the screen. So B1000 also looks like they are bullish. Can we get a setup here? Who caught B1000 yesterday? B1000 was just a super setup yesterday. You can see we were in buys. I think our buys, most of them were a bit early because we were in buys here. Why did I buy here? You can see I had an order block. I had this support zone. So price simply came back and tapped into this area, pushed up, came back. The retracement was too deep. Sometimes if you get into a trade, let's say you scale in here, if they give a deeper retracement like this, usually that retracement will take you out. So if you see the pattern form again, you can still execute your trade. I saw you said you took a trade. Well done, bro. So today my bias is more or less the same. I'm still bullish. Why am I bullish? Because if you notice on the daily, you can see the candles here. And these are all-time highs. We don't have any other price action to the left to say price is actually going to this level. Okay, me too. I'm still holding. That's perfect. If you're still holding, that's perfect. There, you've collected a lot of pips. So these are the all-time highs, as you can see. All-time highs on B 1000. Right, this is the weekly. Weekly has been pushing up as well. So at some points, we are going to have to anticipate price to give a deeper retracement to actually come and react with the 13 EMA before we get continuation of the buys, right? So in terms of today, I'm still open to getting buys, but I'm still also open to seeing this price start to retrace. Because if you notice, price actually slowed down here. Can we close with a week and this price starting to come down? That's also possible. Can the price continue pushing up? That's possible. So if we're just trading with a trend, I would say let's stay with our bullish bias. You can see this is the recent broken zone. Price can come retest that area. If we go to H1, this is the area we have, this area right here. So if we can get a deeper retracement, we can get a very nice buy on this area. Can we buy from current market price? Yes, we can, if we can get a valid pattern. Because right now you can see we are very close to the 13 EMA. So if we can get a pattern here, we can actually get a buy. Let's see what can we use. Okay, so for me to actually execute, I need price to break this level. I can actually have one position at current market price here. Let's see. One position at current market price will actually do. Let me just do a quick multi-time frame analysis here, bouncing off the baseline. Okay, I'm going to have one buy position at current market price. Okay, just give me a moment. I need to just execute the trade on my phone. And again, usually if you have your position, let's say one position, like I'm saying, once your emotions are involved, sometimes you see something which will show you that price is coming down. So you can cut a small loss instead of just going hard now and cutting a bigger loss. So for now, I'll say one position in current market price. I still have a buying bias. So let's drop down from M30. We are now dropping down all the time frames which we can use to see if they are in alignment with the higher time frame. So from the point the day started, we'll just be marking points of interest. We're checking where price respected, what they reacted to. Possibilities of pushing up are still there. Okay, so let's do this. M20, M15. This would be a higher low right here. So this is the order block. That's why I put that red line. Soon as we come above that red line, I'm scaling in, right? This is also an order block there. So let me just do this. Okay, I hope you guys can see there. Okay, that's the order block. Then I'm going to drop to M10. Okay, M10, you can see the order block is pretty much clean there. So now if we come and reject right here, and we show signs that we want to come up, I'll add one more position. And if we come up above here, I'll add one more. Then I'll just see if price can push up with us. So for now, that's how I'm attacking B1000. And it looks like it could be the setup which can actually pay us. We do have a gap here. Let's see. Yes, I've got one position at current market price, bro, on B1000. But just take note that we can actually retrace to this line. You see this red line we marked. So from current market price to that line, we've got 10 pips. So it's worth it. Here you can actually have one buy. I'm sure we can hold 10 pips. We can hold 20 pips. then price can most likely get to this zone. You see where that spike started? That will be the worst case scenario right now. If price is to come below the gap, if we come below here, then that's the stop loss. So our stop loss is to be below the gap. If you go to the 1 minute time frame, I'm sure the gap will be visible. That's where we can trade from. If you saw this gap and you took a trade here, this is where you go aggressive. Once you see the spike, you go aggressive. But most of the times we get bigger moves. So for now, I see they're throwing smaller spikes. So let's just see what they want to do. But right now, point of interest 13, 15, 3, 4, 5. 15, 3, 4, 5. If we respect this area, I'm going to add. If we break this high, I'm going to add. But right now, I've got one position at current market price. So that's how I'm attacking B1000 today. So let's see if they're actually going to pay us. In terms of trend, we are trading with the trend. So the probability of the setup playing out is actually high. But we'll just keep stalking because sometimes price can just change for no reason. Uh, and we'll just have to cut our loss. But for now, let's just hold on to it. I hope they don't do deep retracements because if you notice the way they've been moving today, I don't like these moves whereby you see this is a peak, this is an order block. So you get a close above and you get this level here. So depending with whether you buy here or you buy here, price pushes up, retraces, pushes up, retraces. So retracements like these are kind of frustrating because you see your trade go into profit, come back to break even, or even show you small loss, and it will just get confusing a bit. But if your risk is calculated, then you shouldn't stress. But for now, just have one position. We can only scale in when we get confirmations that we are rejecting here, or we are actually breaking above the current high of the day. In terms of take profit, keep the take profit open because remember, we are still in the process of setting all-time highs. So if we can get maybe 50 to 100 points on this one, that will be a successful trade. So for now, it looks like B1000 will be our setup of the day. So we'll heavily keep checking on our B1000. Step index. I hope one of you caught step index yesterday. It actually moved the way we actually explained, right? Remember when we did the Zoom, I think price was either somewhere here, and we had this fair value gap marked, and we agreed that either price will come here or retrace, or they'll break and retest. Everything we spoke on step happened. So if you're still learning, if you're still struggling, just go to yesterday's video and just go through the part where we talk about step index, because this is a picture perfect setup of a perfect example of clean market structure. So if you're still learning or struggling, this is the best example to learn from. So from what we explained, you can just then go through how price moved. In terms of today, I feel like my price is already moved. I do not have any setup here because this is the full daily range for today. Unless maybe we do this, we might consider buys, but right now I feel like price has already moved like a great deal. You can see the range from yesterday. This is a full day's range, and price is literally moved almost the same full day's range. So what usually happens, price can end the day going sideways, or they can still come down, push up, come down, push out, push down within this range. So in terms of a setup here, I don't have anything. In terms of a daily bias, maybe somebody might be asking, okay, why did we check the daily bias? In terms of bias, right, what we have here, you see we almost bounced off this level we had, almost touched it. So price could push up. We are also on the 50 and the 13 EMA, which means we could push down. We are also trading within this zone. So there will be a lot of undecisiveness within this area. So it's best to actually wait maybe for the day's candle to close before we actually attempt step index again. And one other thing I want to mention, for each day where you have a clean setup, usually the next day or 2 or 3 days, price will move sideways. The reason why price does that is because sometimes the dealer knows that you've made money on this particular move because this was a clean move, right? So on the next day, they will move price funny so that you can have a loss, have a loss, have a loss. So all the profits you made here, you end up losing them within this day. So after every good day, it's always good to also just take time out or have less risk on the next day, no matter what you trade. That will also help protect your capital. So step index, I don't have anything today. If we had come earlier, maybe we were gonna catch the trade, but for now, I've got nothing. Jump 10, going to the daily, we were bullish. We've actually been bullish for the longest of times. So yesterday we also had a strong bullish. Let me just check what we have on the left-hand side. Let's see. Let me go to the weekly. Okay, you see we've got that gray zone at the top there where price can potentially come to. This for me, this candle being left can potentially be a demand zone where we can buy from. We also have this level here. Okay, so in terms of marking out levels, this is something which you have to just like develop by yourself. Because I want to show you an example. Sometimes you see me marking the wicks. Sometimes you see me marking the candlestick bodies. It just depends with what I'll be looking at that particular time. But you can also mark both so that you can just wait for price to react either here or here. That will be the safest thing to do. The reason I'm marking this is if I change my charts to a line chart, you'll notice that this is the true level where price actually reached. But if I go back to the candles, you notice that those wicks are somewhere at the top. So, like I said, it will depend with you and how you are analyzing your charts. So you can have both lines just in case, because sometimes price will just bounce off for one of the two. But here, I would say my bias is still bullish. But at this point in time, we are open to seeing maybe a small retracement, but we are very bullish here. You see this gray zone at the top here. At some point, I feel like price will get there. But one thing you should also know is after liquidity is taken on any time frame you're looking at, price will retrace. You see, we had these highs here. We almost had equal highs, then price retraced. So now we've pushed, we've taken out these highs. We'll most likely get a retracement right there. So going back to the daily, what point of interest do I have here? I've got this demand zone right on the bottom there. These equal highs, I'm just going to remove that. So what am I anticipating here? Potential retracement before a continuation. Again, remember the best setups form near the 13 EMA. So after such an aggressive move, it's always good to be open to seeing a retracement. But knowing that our trend is bullish, we are still open to seeing buys. Right here, I do not have any zone except this one, which I marked yesterday, this demand zone here. So we might get a very deep retracement as well. That's one thing you should just take note of. From last week's highs, you can just mark last week's highs as well, right here as a point of interest. So price can also retrace. Price can also retrace down into this gray zone before pushing. They can retrace into this area before pushing. They can just bounce off here and push up. So these are all points of interest. So for now, I think it will be best to just wait a bit. Let's see what they want to do. H1 is now trading below the 13 EMA, which means if you can get a sell set up here, it will actually be good to execute a sell, being a retracement of this whole push which was going up. I remember yesterday I mentioned we can also run a fib here since price is now retracing. So where can they retrace to? They can retrace to the 38.2, which means if you want to sell, this has to be your immediate target because from here they can push up, right? So that's how best you can actually approach J10. So if you're looking for sells, just know that on the H1, the 50 EMA will be your target. So I'm going to leave this fib here so that we can use it as a point of reference. Going down to M30, Price action not so clean, but we can still get our sell. M15, we've got a lower high, and we can actually get a sell at any point. What I need to see is a nice break of this level here. So this is market structure. We need a break below that gray zone, which I just put. So if we are leaning on sells, price can come just above this order block and they can drop. So point of interest right here. V1 just moved. Any chance to scale in? Okay. All right. Let me just finish here before we round out with V1. I'm only left with 1 minute here, so let me be fast. Bro, they actually moved like that's 40 pips if I'm not mistaken. So we cannot scale in there. Would rather scale out or close. So let me talk about it. Actually, this setup, I'll finish it in the group. So if you get a move like this, you see this is a 40 pip move right from the entry. What can happen is you can actually secure your profit here. Like I mentioned the other day, you can close your trade here. Now you can use those profits. If they retrace here, now you've got more money to use in terms of your daily risk. So here we can close the trade. It's a pity we just had one position, but it's also good that we didn't miss the trade. So we can secure 40 pips there. Then we can wait for the retracement. Yes, they can continue pushing up, but we do not know that they will push up. Yes, you can buy one position here, but your safest stop loss will be here, which will make your stop loss 40 pips. You get it? So that's the reason why we cannot scale in. Rather, let's close and wait for a retracement, then a continuation up. So I think I'm running out of time here, and I'll continue with these notes in the group. So thank you so much, guys, for joining this session. We'll post it in the